Hi and welcome to Knooking 101, the series all about nooking. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to nook the beautiful, super squishy and flexible brioche knit stitch. Now the brioche stitch is a very popular stitch. You can make a lot of things with it, especially clothing, because you get like this super stretchy fabric with it. It's super fluffy, it's cozy, but still breathy, so it's perfect also for spring and fall. And in addition, this is a super easy pattern, even though it doesn't look easy. For nooking, this is a 1-row repeat, and you only need knit stitches and no purl stitches, so this is like an absolute dream, and you get such a dreamy texture. And now I will show you how to nook the brioche knit stitch. So for the brioche stitch, you would need an even number of stitches. In my case, in this example, I started with 20 stitches. And what I would also recommend you is to make a little double knit border on the left and on the right, just to give it a little bit of stability, because the brioche stitch is a very stretchy, very wide stitch, so it's always good to like block it a little bit from the sides to not go all the way. So the first 3 and the last 3 stitches are then for my border, and in between I have my 20 stitches that I will use for the brioche stitch. And now I will show you how to start it. First, I'm going to pick up my first loop, and the first stitch of my border is a knit stitch. And then I will just take my yarn to the front, just like for double knitting, pick up the next loop, and the third loop, for the third loop, I will take the yarn to the back again and slip stitch. And now I can start with my brioche stitch. For knitting, this is personally, I think, a little bit more difficult than with nooking. So the brioche stitch works as follows. You take the yarn and wrap it around to the front, then you just pick up the next loop, and then you take the yarn to the back and make a knit stitch in the next stitch. So it's okay when you get like this little cross here, like the 2 loops over each other. This is completely fine. And this is what we basically repeat right until we have 3 loops left. So again, the yarn over the hook from the back, grab the next loop, take the loop to the back and knit stitch. Again, here you see the little cross. Then yarn over the hook, grab the next loop, yarn to the back and knit stitch. Yarn over the hook, pick up the next loop, yarn to the back and knit stitch. Yarn over the loop, over the hook, to the back again and knit stitch. Yarn over the hook, pick up the next loop and knit stitch all the way. And now I have my 3 loops left, and for that, for the end of each round, we take the yarn to the front, you pick up the next loop, take the yarn to the back, knit stitch, and take the yarn back to the front and just pick up the last loop. So the beginning and the end is really all about the border, and here you can also see what happens with all those yarn overs that we made. we can now release our helper yarn and slide our work through, because now we are good to go with our second round or second row. And we start our border like we did it before. We go into the first stitch and knit stitch. Then we take the yarn to the front, pick up the next loop, yarn to the back, and knit stitch. And now we have the exact same repeat, except that for the knit stitches, we are going to make the knit stitches under both of those loops, the crossed ones from the previous round. So again, we yarn over, grab the next loop, push the yarn to the back, and then go under both of those loops or under the cross and knit stitch. Again, yarn over the hook, pick up the next loop, yarn to the back, and then pick up both of those loops from the cross. Again, yarn over the hook, pick up the next loop, and knit stitch through the next all the way until we have 3 loops left. And here we go, our 3 final loops. So we take the yarn to the front, pick up the next loop, yarn to the back, and knit stitch, yarn back to the front, and just pick up the last loop to finish this second row. And all the other rows are exactly the same. And don't worry, the brioche stitch takes a few rounds, because now you might think it looks a bit weird. And I agree, it definitely does, but it just takes a few rounds until you see the full effect. So let's just make another round so you see it again, and then I will make a few more rounds until I can then show you the pattern in all its glory. So again, we start with a knit stitch, we take the yarn to the front, double knit style, again to the back after picking up that second loop, and then we can start with our pattern. So yarn over from the back over the hook, and then push the yarn back and knit stitch. Yarn over the hook, pick up the next loop, and then knit stitch the 2 crossed loops, pick up the next. And I also think it helps to keep it very relaxed. Don't force any of those stitches, just go along. It's really just a 1 row repeat, and no purl stitches, which is of course awesome. It's all yarn overs and knit stitches, so you can almost close your eyes. And our last set, here we go. And again, we take the yarn to the front, pick up the next loop, yarn to the back, knit stitch, yarn to the front, and just pick up that last loop. And from there, we just continue until we have a few rounds, and then you will also see how this beautiful brioche stitch comes to life, and I'll see you then. And here we go, the super fluffy, super cozy brioche stitch. Both sides look the same, and what can I say? It's a dream. It really is a dream. You can stretch it in all directions, and it looks absolutely magnificent, and it's super squishy and beautiful. And I still can't believe how simple it is to make this beautiful, very textured stitch. and I know you will have lots of fun making it yourself. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to learn more about knooking, make sure to subscribe to my channel and to check out my Knooking 101 playlist, where you will find all the short little video tutorials about how to nook. Happy nooking! Bye!